Hey, hello. You're stuck in traffic with Wolf Gorlick, not in traffic at RSA, is what it is. And this is a couple-minute riff on IT and IT security. So a little bit of history lesson. This was kind of cool. When Google bought Nest, right? Those thermostats that sit in your house and collect a whole bunch of data. When Google bought Nest, I was like, oh no, Google's going to have our data. And there was a quick race to develop an open source alternative. So I think it was Spark Fund who put forth a challenge to put one together over like less than a week. They did a hackathon, they threw a whole bunch of people together, they built the code, they built the system, they built this cool little container, and they built an open source Nest. The entire system was done, like I said, in about a week, and it was around 7,000 lines of code. Now, I've talked about this in the past. Defect density is the number of defects per 1,000 lines of code. Defect density is usually around 0.69 for mature code bases. For new code bases, it could be 1 or 2. It only takes one of those defects to create bugs, glitches, and of course, security vulnerabilities. So defect density is a key metric. If you got 7,000 lines of code rushed, you probably have about 14 defects in that code. Now, before you think, oh, that's only 14 defects, I can find those, pause for just a minute and appreciate the beauty it is that you can create a home automation system in a week with 7,000 lines of code. The reason you can do that, the reason that's possible, is of course we leverage open source. We leverage all these libraries, existing components, modules, sensors, the Linux operating system, all these frameworks that come together to build the system. So for that 7,000 lines of code, there's probably anywhere from 70 to 700,000 lines on the back end that make all that possible. So when we think about protecting our own security, we're often thinking about static analysis on our code or dynamic analysis on the applications we build, and that can target the 1 to 2% we create. That can target the 1 or 2% of the stuff that we're manually typing in, right? But when you think about it, there's this huge amount of code in the back end, the 90% that we don't have visibility into, that does have defects. It does have the defect density applied to it. That does have ways that can break in. And as a matter of fact, if you look at OWASP, it's one of the things that now consider. Are you using up-to-date libraries? The art of looking at that, right? If you got static analysis for your code, dynamic analysis for your apps, the art of looking at those libraries is called software composition analysis, or SCA. So software composition analysis is looking at all that and getting good visibility into the developers and into your ops folks to know what those libraries are you using the right ones, are you running things efficiently, do you have known vulnerabilities in the libraries you're using. Put together in terms of a supply life chain, right? If you look at the whole supply chain to produce your code over its life, you can begin to look at ways that developers can concentrate on fewer libraries, use less coupling, and update quicker. And that not only has security benefits, but also has operational benefits. Things go faster, things are easy to maintain, you have less legacy code and what have you. So once you're maturing your program, don't only think about the static analysis, don't only think about dynamic analysis, but also remember that behemoth of code that you're not writing but you're still responsible for, and that can lead to vulnerabilities. Software composition analysis and supply chain analysis. All right, cheers.